Dear learners, I am Christina Georgy, your academic counselor. Biofeedback. This has reference to biological feedback. First and foremost, let me quote from Ghosh that biofeedback is a technique of making unconscious or involuntary bodily processes perceptible to the senses in order to manipulate them by conscious mental control. So through mindfulness, what we do is that we try to sense certain bodily processes in order to manipulate them by conscious mental control. By manipulating them, we can to some extent reduce the stress that we feel. So this particular technique, biofeedback, can also be described as a process that is non-invasive in nature and helps in comprehending the effect of stress on one's body. Remember, biofeedback helps monitor the bodily changes that takes place when stress is experienced. So when we studied the various models of stress, we came to know that whenever stress happens or whenever the individual experiences stress, there will be some physiological changes, some bodily changes that take place. So if we are able to control or manipulate these bodily processes by conscious mental control, we can certainly manage our stress. So biofeedback can be obtained for breathing, blood pressure, heart rate, galvanic skin response, etc. What do you mean by galvanic skin response? GSR, you must have heard, right? It refers to the changes in sweat gland activity. So these mainly include measurement of amount of sweat on skin, temperature of skin, tension in muscles, and so on. So if this can be obtained, that would be of great advantage. The individual will get immediate feedback about the various physiological processes happening in his or her body as well. So when the individual becomes aware about these changes with the help of biofeedback, he or she will be in a better position to manipulate and control them. Thus, the physiological arousal that is experienced during stress can be dealt with by using various techniques, including deep breathing, relaxation, and so on. As the body is relaxed, there is no negative effect on stress on health of the individual. Hence, we can say that biofeedback is of immense help. It can help an individual identify what he or she needs to manipulate or control and which technique is more effective while doing so. Accordingly, the individual can effectively manage stress experienced by him or her. Biofeedback can be attained in various ways. We can say it is very much possible to be obtained using two main ways. Firstly, by becoming more aware about one's physical responses, and secondly, by using certain tools like thermometer or maybe weighing scales for that matter. So how can biofeedback be obtained by becoming more aware about one's physical responses? For example, maybe we can notice our rapid breathing while experiencing stress, or if we try to use tools, as I mentioned, thermometer, it can be used to recognize the level of your temperature, or weighing scales that would help you analyze your weight or other aspects. So all these are very helpful. Remember, biofeedback is a technique of making unconscious or involuntary bodily process perceptible to the senses in order to manipulate them by conscious mental control. We discussed now a few techniques of stress management in this unit, right? And many more will be discussed in the following units, that is units 7 and 8 respectively. As I mentioned, you need to remember that each of us experience and react to stress in different manner. The technique that we may find effective to manage stress will also vary, especially from person to person. That is why we are studying many techniques, and from that you can choose and practice the one that suits you the most. Alright? So you need to become aware about your stress, understand it, and then select one or more techniques that will help you deal effectively with your stress. Will you do so? Good to see that. Good to know that. Yes. So let's now summarize what we have dealt with in this particular unit. So how many stress management techniques have we studied so far? It's correct. Very good. So which are they? Can you try to name them one by one? Yes, correct. Relaxation, meditation, yoga, mindfulness, and biofeedback. Yes. So remember, there are a number of physiological changes that takes place in the individual who is experiencing stress, and this could range from rapid breathing to increased heartbeat and pulse rate, tightening of muscles, and so on. In such a situation, relaxation techniques can be effectively used, especially to reduce the muscle tension experienced by the individual undergoing the stressful situation. Do you remember Jacobson's progressive muscle relaxation technique that we discussed? Yes, we discussed Jacobson's progressive muscle relaxation technique in our last class. So in this context, meditation is yet another technique that can be used to deal with stress. Meditation will relax our body, and thus the negative impact of stress on our body is reduced. Remember the different types of meditations? Mindfulness meditation, transcendental meditation, guided meditation, vipassana meditation, loving kindness meditation, and chakra. Yes. Thereafter, we moved on to yoga, and remember the various asanas and pranayamam that we explained. The next technique was mindfulness. Remember, it denotes awareness about one's thinking, the way one feels, physical sensations, and one's surrounding in the present moment. So will you try to practice mindfulness from today? Will you try that while eating? Try to reduce TV or any other activity that would do? Yes. Later we discussed biofeedback. Remember, that is also a technique of making unconscious or involuntary bodily processes perceptible to the senses in order to manipulate them by conscious mental control. So there are some more useful techniques like cognitive restructuring and time management that would help you reduce your stress effectively. We'll discuss all those as part of Unit 7 of Block 2 of your course book on BPCS-186 in our next session.